Today is Apple Watch Day, and we're going to be starting off with the Series 11. I have both versions here in jet black. I have both the 42mm version as well as the larger 46mm version. And I also have the Series 10, which I'll be comparing to as well, and share with you my buying advice and take a look at what is new as we go. But first, I am giving away this brand new iPhone 17. And for a chance to win, be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and subscribe to my second channel, Tech Book by Dion, link in the description. Then comment your favorite feature of the Apple Watch Series 11, along with your Instagram username, and follow me on Instagram at Dion Schuddeboom, where I'll announce the winner on the 31st of October. Alright, let's get started with the unboxing. So in terms of pricing, the Apple Watch Series 11 42mm version, that's the one up here, will start at $399, and the larger 46mm version comes in at $429, and then you have to add an additional $100 if you want the cellular version. So all in all, these are the same prices as last year, and as always, I will leave the purchase links down in the description. So let's go ahead and unbox both here at the same time, side by side, and check out this really cool artwork here on the box. It's kind of a 3D-like look, very watchOS 26 with this glass-like look. I think that's really clean, nice little metallic finish. It's even kind of 3D, you can almost feel it. So both boxes here are going to come in two parts, just like in previous years. We have the watch, and then beneath that we have the band. And I'll also talk you through why I chose the specific version of the watch and the band, because I think this will be the best setup for most people, but I'll talk about that as we go. So first of all, here we have one of the sizes, and then over here on the right, you'll see the unboxing experience is pretty much the same. And let's start off here with the 42mm version. So let's take a look at the watch box first, where we have the two pull tabs, 1 and 2. All right. Go ahead and lift the box here and see what we have inside. And here it is. Okay, so very familiar unboxing experience to previous years, where here on the left we have the brand new Apple Watch Series 11 in this little cardboard shell. Let's go ahead and slide that out. And here we go. And here it is. Let's bring the watch to life. And as you can see, I've got the beautiful jet black colorway, the same here that I have on last year's Series 10. I really like this. I think it looks super sleek. It looks elegant, and I think really adds a premium touch to this otherwise smart watch. Now, the biggest upgrade that comes to the Series 11 is actually one that originally came to the Series 10, and that is a complete new redesign compared to all previous Apple Watches. So if you're coming from, say, the Series 5, 6, 7, I think one of the biggest differences you will notice with the Series 11 is this brand new redesign. So basically, you get a much bigger display. The display is also a better shape, so it's a little bit wider, more square shape, which makes it a lot easier to read text on the screen. The bezels are also thinner, and overall, the design is just a little bit more rounded. So this here is a very big quality of life improvement, and I think one of the best features of the Series 11, again, if you are coming from an older generation. And then compared to the Series 9, the Series 11 and Series 10 is also 10% thinner, so this does mean it will sit even more comfortably and lower profile on the wrist. But then the Series 11 specifically also brings some new features. So first of all, we do get 2x better scratch resistance here on the glass. We also get 24 hours of battery life as opposed to the previous 18 hours of battery life. So that's a pretty substantial difference here. And we also, for the first time, get 5G connectivity. So that should be great if you have the cellular version of the Apple Watch. And then here, taking a look at what else is in the box, you'll see we have the charging puck. And just to confirm here, yeah, that does look like it's the same with the braided cable, USB-C, and also the metal back here on the puck, which is great. This is the same one you'll also find in the Ultra, and I believe also now in the new SE3, which I'll also unbox. Then here beneath that we have the paperwork, which looks to be very simple. Let's see what we have. So we have your warranty, basically just your warranty information, no stickers, nothing like that. So that there is one of the watches, and let's take a look at the band as well. But other features that the Series 11 does bring is some new health-related features. So we get, first of all, hypertension detection, which I think will be a very powerful feature. I always like to see Apple add new health features to the Apple Watch. I think it's a great draw and reason for people to buy these watches. And then here we have the watch band. Check this out, looking good. Again, very familiar to previous years. I really love this design, this color choice. And again, I'll talk more about that in a sec. But this here is the sports band in black. I think a perfect combination here for the Series 11 in jet black. And then lastly, the Series 11 also adds a new sleep score. This will be great if you are tracking your sleep. Personally, I don't really use this because I find it annoying to sleep with a watch on my wrist, but I know many people do sleep tracking, so this here will be a welcome upgrade. And then finally, we get some new watch faces as well as bands specific to the Series 11. And now in order to compare the two sizes, let me very quickly unbox also the 46mm version here. We're going to be multitasking. I'm going to be talking while we unbox here. So let's get these tabs off. And here we go. Look at that, looking very familiar. So again, a very similar unboxing experience. And then here we have the larger 46mm version of the Series 11. So it is definitely noticeably larger. And I must say, again now too, it does feel thinner, even though technically they are exactly the same in terms of thickness. Somehow the larger 46mm version just feels thinner, of course, because it is larger. So let's bring this watch to life as well. And beneath that, I'll show you quickly, we have the same setup, same charging puck, which by the way, also now charges the watch faster. So Apple says you can get 80% battery charge in just 30 minutes. That's both on the 42 and on the 46mm version, which I think is great, especially if you are someone that does use your watch for sleep tracking. That way you can quickly charge it in the morning and then have enough power for the rest of the day. And then here we have the band as well. So let's take that out. There we go. And attach that here to the Apple Watch. So the watch band mechanism has not changed over the years, which is great because there's so many different bands to choose from. This is a very reliable mechanism, and I think also one that is super user-friendly and just great to use. But anyway, let me go ahead and clean up the table a little bit, and then let's do a closer size comparison here of both Apple Watches side by side. And we are back, where as you can see, I've now got both Apple Watches on my wrist, and let me give you a good look at how these sizes compare. Now, I do have a more in-depth size comparison video coming soon, in which I also look at how watchOS compares on these two watches, as this is also an area where they do differ a lot, and you have advantages and disadvantages here with both sizes. But in this video, I do want to give you a brief idea to show you how the two look here on my wrist. Now here on my left wrist, I have the 42mm version and the larger 46mm version here on my right wrist. And personally, I will be going with the 42mm version as I have done in previous years. I think this looks most proportionate on my 155mm wrist. I would say if your wrist is similar to mine in size, the smaller 42mm version will likely be the better choice. Though I will say with the new shape of the Series 10 and also in the 11, the larger 46mm version does look better and not as large as previous versions of the Apple Watch. And I think that's also because the display is made a bit wider, the case is a little bit more rounded, and the watch is also thinner. So you can't really go wrong with either. But again, if your wrist is similar to mine in size, I think the 42mm version just looks a little bit more proportionate. It looks more like an actual watch as opposed to, say, a gadget or more like a computer on my wrist. And now briefly, I also want to do a side-by-side comparison here to the Series 10. So the Series 10 is here on the left. In theory, they should be the same, but you never know. I just want to do a quick check here, and we can see that the buttons on the side are going to be the same. The speaker grills here are the same. Let's look at the back. They look to be the same, except one is dirty. That will be the Series 10, but otherwise they look identical in shape, size, thickness. Weight too feels exactly the same. Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about the buying options, as there are so many with the Apple Watch. And I would say if you are new to the Apple Watch, you want to make sure that you choose the right setup, because there's so many different options from the case material, the case size, of course, also on the band. And this right here is, in my opinion, the best Apple Watch Series 11 setup, not just for new Apple Watch users, I think especially for Apple Watch users, but even for veterans, more experienced Apple Watch users like myself. This here is what I choose. And the reason for that is simple. That is because this setup, I think, is the best. It is the most versatile setup that's going to go with all outfits, all occasions, and also be super comfortable to wear both in formal occasions, but also for things like working out. So I really think that this here is the best combination. So I chose to go with the jet black case here, and as you can see, I think this is a really, really nice setup. It looks quite premium, yet it doesn't come with the premium price tag of the more expensive titanium case option, something I can't really justify from a price perspective because it's pretty much the same watch, just a better case and also a more durable display, I will say that. But feature-wise, it is the same, and for the huge difference in price, I think the jet black finish that we get on the Series 11 is by far your best value option within the Series 11 lineup. And again, that dark color is going to pair with any occasion, whether it be more casual or formal. Plus, because the watch case is black, the sort of border between where the display ends and the case starts is almost hard to see. So it makes the watch, I think, looks even more modern. It looks really, really nice. And I also like that it is shiny as opposed to the other colors, which have more of a matte finish. And I think this shiny color does give it a bit more of a premium and a more luxurious aesthetic. And now let's talk about the band. So of course, there are many different options, especially here on the Series 11, there are more bands, but I decided to go with the OG Apple Watch Sports Band. And this is the band that I keep coming back to. It is one that I love to wear primarily because of how comfortable it is. The rubber is super flexible. It is light on the wrist as well. And again, because of its dark color, it pairs so well with the jet black watch case, and again will also look very understated, so even in more formal occasions it won't look out of place. Like, there are moments where you want to wear a bright orange watch band, and there are times where you want something more understated, and you can never go wrong with this black finish on the sports band. And despite it being a sporty band, again, because of that darker color, you can pull it off in more formal occasions. But then when you are at the gym, for example, the sports band is great because you can just take it off your watch, put it in some water and some dish soap to clean it. You don't have to worry about damaging it. I found these bands to be really durable. I've used them for years in the past. This here feels the same, so I expect no less from the performance of this band. Now, one last tip I have on the sports band is that it does come in two versions. So you have the typical buckle system, the one I have here, but you also have a solo loop version. Now, the solo loop version in theory sounds really nice because you never have to adjust the band, right? It is going to be perfect to your wrist, but the problem is you really have to get the size right, because if you get it wrong, you can't adjust it. And the second thing is the size of your wrist does swell or shrink depending on the temperature or what it is you're doing. So for example, during a hot day and you're doing a workout, your wrist will be a little bit larger, so you do want to be able to adjust that. And that's where this typical traditional buckle system is so easy to quickly adjust the size of your watch without having to get a separate band. So honestly, I would say that the typical buckle system version of the sports band is the way to go. Now, side by side, compared to the Series 10, the upgrade that the Series 11 brings is relatively small. But of course, most people won't be upgrading from the Series 10. I definitely don't recommend you do that. Instead, you'll be coming from the Series 4, 5, or even the Series 6, in which case the Series 11 will be a monumental upgrade. And the biggest for me really is this new design, especially the display, which is going to be bigger. It is brighter. You have thinner bezels. It's also more visible with that wide angle OLED display. And overall, it is just an upgrade in every way. It is also 40% brighter when you look at it from an angle, which is great when you're looking at it outdoors or say following directions on maps. And it even has a lower refresh rate. So the refresh rate can now go all the way down to 1 Hertz, which means that even when your watch is in the always on display mode, so when your wrist is down, you'll still be able to see the second-hand timer. And this, I think, is a really neat touch that makes the watch feel a little bit more mechanical, more like a watch rather than just a fitness tracker or smartwatch. I also like that you can now actually play music on the speaker. So this was introduced on the Series 10, but it is great to have here on the Series 11 as well. A feature I use more than I thought I would. So let's say you're coming home and you're listening to a podcast or something. You take out your AirPods, but you still want to be able to hear those last couple of seconds or minutes. And the watch speaker here is great. It's also very loud. So for calls, it works well too. And in terms of processor, we have the same S10 chip, so this will be the same as on the Series 10. But because that chip is still relatively new, I would expect the Series 11 to last for many years. So I'm happy to see this chip as well. And then, of course, the Series 11 specifically does upgrade, bring some pretty nice upgrades too, particularly the better scratch resistance on the display on the aluminum model. I think I really welcome that, as previously you only have good scratch resistance on the more expensive titanium version, but hopefully now the aluminum version will be more durable as well in terms of scratch resistance as well. And lastly, in terms of battery, it should now go up to 24 hours as opposed to 18 hours, which, is a nice improvement, I would say. Personally, my Series 10 and previous Apple Watches have always lasted me all day, so I've never had any issues there. So I would only expect the battery life on the Series 11 to be even better. And we also get 5G connectivity, which is nice if you use the cellular version of the watch. Personally, I don't, but if you do, 5G will be good to have as well. And then, of course, more health features like hypertension detection as well as the sleep score will be welcome upgrades too for those health-focused individuals. And then, of course, you also get the typical fantastic Apple Watch features that I love the Apple Watch for and that I actually use most. And the first is going to be receiving notifications on the wrist at a glance. You also get a heart rate monitor, ECG, which is really, really powerful, workout tracking, which is great, encouraging you to be more active, filling in those activity rings as well. Siri is useful too. When I'm cooking, I can quickly set a timer. And then very crucial safety features like crash and fall detection. These here have literally saved lives, and I think there's really no better feature to have that you hope to never need, but still reassuring to have on your wrist at all times. Personally, I love wearing my Apple Watch. It's not necessarily about the things that my watch does that my phone can't do, but instead it's about doing the things that I already do on my phone, but making them even better, right? Adding convenience to my life and also making me a little bit healthier with all of those fitness and health tracking features. I can't wait to start using and testing the new Series 11, but of course, many of the best features that I've been describing on the Series 11 actually come from last year's Series 10. So the question is, should you just get that instead? Well, right now, what I will say is that the Series 10 does look like a very attractive value option when it comes to the Apple Watch series. However, I'll leave my thoughts more after testing and in my proper review video, which is coming on the Series 11 very soon. I'll also be doing an Apple Watch Series 11 first things to do video, which will help you get the most out of this watch's features, battery life, as well as longevity. So lots of Apple Watch content in the making. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you have any questions at all specifically about the Series 11, or if there's anything you'd like me to test or compare to other models. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.